Good afternoon. This is William McKissock with Schooley Mitchell, your expense reduction specialist. Today I'm with Tiffanie Kellog with Asentiv, an international entrepreneurial development organisation. Welcome to the show, Tiffanie. So the first question I have for you is, tell me about Asentiv, what you do and why you do it.
So our organization is all about helping people have amazing business and spectacular lives. And what kind of drives me to do this as much as I do, I didn't actually know I wanted to be an entrepreneur growing up. I kind of happened into it. But what I found was I was working all of the time. It was like 7 days a week from sunup way past sundown. I was continuously working, and that's not why I became an entrepreneur. Interestingly, I went to school for business and I was doing that. And then a couple of years after I got my degree, I had that first job. Two things happened that really changed my path in getting here. First, the job that I had, the company got together, did a little restructuring, and what was no longer part of the organization, my position. And the other thing that happened about the same time is my mom, who had been battling breast cancer for the previous 17 months, she was given a terminal diagnosis and a couple of weeks left to live. And you know, it was kind of lucky for me that I was unemployed. I took the severance package and I was unemployed. So I got to spend every single day with my mom, and she hung on. We actually had several months together, and we were able to celebrate her 47th birthday. We had this big bash. But after she passed away, I was kind of left with, what am I going to do with my life? I don't have a job. I've lost my best friend. But there was a friend of the family that came over. She owned her own business, and she would come over at like 10 o'clock on a Monday morning or 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, because everybody else was coming over in the evenings and weekends because they had to work. So she had that flexibility, and I'm like, oh, you own your own business? I want to do that. But when I moved to Florida and started my own business, I realized that there's a little bit more to it than just I have a business, let me have that flexibility and freedom. And so what I do is I work with entrepreneurs to have that flexibility and freedom so that they don't have to work all the time, and they're able to do the things that are important to them now, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
That's very interesting. It's cool that what you're doing comes from the heart. It comes from experience. It comes from having to deal with issues in life and moving it forward and create this space for people to have a life and have a business.
Yeah, so and it's interesting because, right, you know, COVID's been happening, since the almost beginning of this year. And it's been hard for a lot of people to shift and the pivot. But to me, I think it's really putting our priorities straight in a way that maybe hasn't been before, because we had an interruption that we couldn't help. For most of us, you know, something's happened different in our world. And so we're able to evaluate, okay, what is really important? What do I need to make the time for? What do I need to have the energy for?
Yeah, sometimes when something drastic happens, that's when you learn who you are and how to deal with things differently. So as far as Asentiv goes and you're working with your clients, how do you help your clients?
So my goal is to give them a super simple system that they can use to help them generate more referrals for their business. And what I love about this is that it can apply to all kinds of industries. I have a general contractor that I've been working with for 5 years now. When I first met him, he had 3 employees and himself. That was it. It was just this little crew. And he just added, I think, his 42nd employee. It's a multi-million-dollar business just from the opportunity of, you know, let's put these referrals in place. Now, I have a photographer that I was working with. So we started working together in the beginning of 2019. And at the end of the year, we look at the numbers, and he saw an increase in his business by 8% more money, which I usually am like, oh, that's not that big of an increase. But when we looked at his work week, he was actually working 25% less each week. So to me, I'm making, you know, 8% more, working 25% less. So I'm making more money in less time. To me, that's brilliant. It's the opportunity to do the things that are important. So now he gets more time to spend with his kids.
That's fantastic. Obviously, more value in 2 different ways there, making money and making time, because we know how valuable time is. That's something that we bring to the table as expense reduction specialists with Schooley Mitchell. So I really get that, the whole aspect of time. So what is an epiphany, an e-Tiffany?
So it was interesting. Years ago, I was in a program, and I used to ask people, what was your aha moment, or what did you get from today's program? And a gentleman by the name of William, not you, William, but a different William, actually was like, oh, you should call them e-Tiffanies. your epiphanies from Tiffany. And I'm like, that is so silly. There is no way I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, huh. And it kind of caught on. And so that's kind of when I'm working with people, my goal is to have at least one powerful epiphany from Tiffany, which we call e-Tiffanies. And so it's just a little something silly. I'm kind of silly. That's just how I am. I like to have fun while I'm doing the work.
Yeah, no, it's a cool use of wording, and it kind of absolutely it fits you and your personality. So I already knew what it was, but I knew I wanted my audience to see this. Obviously, Asentiv and you are a huge fan of referral business. What's one thing that people should think about when they're trying to get more referrals?
You know, it's hard to think about one thing. I could go on for the next 3 days. However, I know we've got a time limit here. So I thought, what would be one major impactful tip that I could share? And to me, if you want more referrals, you want to ask for more referrals. Now, most people don't ask for more referrals because they're afraid of getting the no. If you say, hey, do you know anybody? They don't want to get the no, or they don't want to impose. To me, if you're asking for a referral and you get a no, you're doing it wrong. There's a better way to do it. So the verbiage that we like to use is, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who? And then you want to follow that with a very specific referral request. Tell us what an ideal client looks like, even down to the name if possible, the neighborhood they live in, the type of industry that they're in. You could also ask for a referral source, so that person that can pass you referrals all day, every day. I like to go out there and do speaking engagements. So I might ask for, the speaking engagement at the local chamber of commerce. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Now, my tip is that you ask, something as simple as you're talking to someone you know on the phone and, hey, before I let you go, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who? And it's something conversational and it's not as aggressive. Now, if I'm talking to you for the very first time, then I might not yet ask because we're not quite there in the relationship. But to me, most people don't know how they can help you. And so if you can give us that specific request of here's how you can help, I think it will result in more people helping you. Now, not to put you on the spot or anything, William, but like if you were to ask because I know you got a lot of people out here watching these, and I am putting him on the spot. I didn't tell him I was going to do this. If people were thinking, okay, how can I help you? How would you fill in that? I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who? Who would be a good referral or referral source for you?
Well, a referral source for me could absolutely be any business that spends money in the categories we look at. But to be specific, I could say to you, yeah, I'd like to have an introduction to a local manufacturing company that you're working with. If I knew the name of a CEO, I would tell you the name of a CEO, but that's me being as specific for one industry. And there's lots of manufacturers locally in this area. So yes, anybody watching this, if they could refer me to a local manufacturer, but yeah, that would be my, one of the areas that I could ask for with that advice. And I'm sure people watching this right now, this could potentially be an epiphany for them.
Oh yeah.
Hearing you say that may get them thinking, right, okay, I'm not asking for referrals in the right way. And you're correct. It is important to ask in the right way and have the relationship to a level where you can ask for it without being too business-like about it.
Yeah. And in addition to asking people when you're having a conversation with them, which nowadays is much more on Zoom than it is face-to-face, there's sometimes we still get to see people face-to-face or over the phone. I use this a lot on social media. You can put in your Facebook post and your Instagram post, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who? And then fill in that blank of who you're looking for. Now, if you don't get any responses, usually that means one of two things. Either number one, you weren't specific enough and people are like, it's too much work. If we have to work, it doesn't work. That's a lot of work going on there. But so you may want to be a little bit more specific. The second thing is if you get no comments, then maybe your network's just not any good and you need some new people. Okay, I'm kind of joking on that, but maybe it shows that, hey, the people that I'm friends with online may not know who I'm ideally looking for. And so you may have to look at expanding your network for people that do know your ideal client.
Yeah, no, that completely makes sense. And with the word client being there at the end of that sentence, what is a great client for you?
So I love working with people that own their own business. They've got a couple of employees, though a vision for making it much, much bigger. A lot of times they're still kind of doing some of the in the business things, and they really want to get to more on the business things. And let's take it from 2 or 3. Though I still work with solopreneurs, one person in the business, but they want to take it from, you know, this small little business to 10, 20, 40, 50, maybe expanding business. People that really has that ideal for growth. Oh, and usually I find the people that love working with me have hobbies that either take some time or some money, and they want to spend more time doing them, whether that's golfing, boating, hunting, things of those natures. People that are wanting to have more fun in their world, not just grow their business.
Thank you. That's amazing information. And as a final note on this interview, I know you're very passionate about what you do and what you deliver and helping businesses, but you also have another passion, and I believe that is socks. Tell me about your socks.
So it wasn't an intentional thing that happened, but I have a collection of over 300 pairs of socks now. And if you were seeing me in person, if I'm on stage, I usually have some really bright, colorful socks, which I wear with Converse, because I think it'd be weird to wear colorful socks with heels. That just gets in a different, but I've always got my socks on, and so that's a huge part of my brand. And when people see colorful socks, they think of me and they bring me colorful socks. And I even have colorful socks that have Tiffany's on them. It's all about a little bit of fun and a little bit of branding to help you stay top of mind, which helps you be referable.
So anybody watching this show today, if you want to send Tiffany a pair of socks, colorful socks, that's important. They have to be colorful socks. Well, Tiffany, thank you very much for coming on my show today. This is about helping entrepreneurs and businesses get exposure on social media. We at Schooley Mitchell love to do that, and I couldn't do it without people like yourself coming on the show. So thank you very much for coming, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I'll now hand it over to Dave for the weather.